And we're live. We're in. Beautiful.
Hey.
Right, welcome guys. For those of you that are watching, welcome to the first IDU live stream coming from Super Right. I'll be your host today. You all know me as xBeanie, also known as Jay. But joining me today is Silver Tongue Devil, Big Smith 01, and Atlas Rise. Say hi, guys.
Hello.
But yeah, first of all, I just want to throw out my apologies. We were having technical issues today, so we couldn't release the tournament. But it will be going live at the same time tomorrow. Fingers crossed. The team are working tirelessly to get it out for you guys, so hopefully we'll get to that soon. But yeah, let's jump straight into some questions. So I know the big one that's going to come out first is the fight between Big Smith 01 and Atlas Rise at the end of Season 3. So I don't know if you guys want to enlighten us a bit on what happened on those final days.
I'll let LJ, go over his surprise when I snuck up on him there at the end.
Yeah. At the time where I thought I was going to comfortably end my season with a glorious score, then this guy shows up, says that he's going to take a 1 week holiday and catch up. So thank you, Sean, for giving me the stress of my life.
Yeah, anytime, man, anytime.
Keeps on giving.
It was interesting because I saw the post go up about the season ending, and I had died I don't know, a few weeks before that, which was the current first place run, and I never really quit playing the game. I mean, as soon as I die, I start up another run. So, but the next run, it was just more of a leisurely run. I wasn't in a race to get back to where I was. But then when they announced it, I was already 2 or 3 weeks into that run, and knowing that I was going on, taking vacation the next week. I mean, the amount of hours I did put in is kind of embarrassing to sit back and think about it, but hey, it was all right. It was cool.
I think we
hours and doctor's visits.
Hours to put the hours in, man. That's how you get there. That's how you get good.
Yeah,
but it was.
Yeah,
it was a blast just seeing, going back and forth, and daily I would look at the app to see, if he was still playing, if his score was advancing, and of course, the app gives you, hey, Atlas Rise got a new high score, and every time I'm like, when is he gonna die already? My goodness.
Surprisingly, I thought the same about you. I was waking up like when you go to bed because of the time difference is when I wake up, and then I see a score that you progressed 2 millions over the night, and I'm like, Jesus, come on, this guy needs to stop. But you actually forced me to run a full cycle, which was cycle 18 in 72 hours, including all the other stuff that I need to do, work and similar. So I think that was quite stressful. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, that was extremely stressful. I mean, in a single day to go through purgatory, and then when it's time to basically wind it down and go to sleep, then I had to go through a pit, which was pit of immolation with a bunch of skeletons in it. So that was quite of an experience, to be honest. So yeah. I'm not sure I'm going to be ready for a similar thing in Season 4. So I hope you end your run in time, Sean.
Brilliant. You definitely had all of us super bright keeping an eye on you guys. We were wondering when you were going to die. I think at one point you were only like 30,000 points between each other as well, which obviously are like cycle 17, 18, 19. That's like one enemy. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the last couple of days before the season ended, we started, messaging back and forth to each other, and it was nothing but friendly. I mean, we were both giving each other like tips, like, hey, where are you at? Have you done this? Because we both had the same concerns about dealing with the bosses and things like that, and a lot of it, like, I would be keeping an eye on the app to see if his score was changing. And so I'd have to message him, be like, hey, have you done Asmo yet? Just wondering if he actually made it through or if he was dead. Just trying to get some inside information.
Like it.
But this is a great kind of part of that story. And it's like 100% true. I'm going through the abyss I'm totally exhausted. It was the night before the season ended, and then I can see on my Oculus there is a message from Sean, but I can't see what the message is. I can only see a notification, and I'm like, I really hope that this guy says, let's put the bows down and call it a season. You know, I was really hoping that he's going to say that and make my life easier. And then I pause the run. I take off the headset, you know, do some things to calm myself down because it's extremely challenging and exhausting. And then I pick up my phone and then I open the app to read this message, expecting that he's suggesting some kind of truce. And then I see a message saying, bro, would you like to continue this run even after the season ends so we see how far we can go? I'm like, hell no.
He's done this, man.
Yeah, his shoulders are done.
I dare say others might as well. Did you guys actually know each other before you started messaging when you were in that little battle at the top?
Nope, not at all.
There you go. The friendships that ID builds.
It's good.
Right
That's
there.
good.
It's all about.
We definitely have a great community behind us.
Or should we say the rivalries that IDU creates right there?
Friendly rivalries, that's right.
I mean,
Brilliant.
looking at it from a positive perspective, I never would have gotten till season 19 if it wasn't for Sean, because at that point, as I stated, it was so stressful that if you're not chased by someone or vice versa, that you need to catch up the score, then I would have never continued through 17, 18, and 19 because that was just too much of a hustle. But if you have a competitive spirit into it, that's a huge credit to Sean. Not a credit that he beat me, but a credit that I reached cycle 19 because of him.
Yeah.
So that was good.
No, it's good. The competitive spirit behind it helps a lot. I know that's helped me in the past with a few of the tournaments. But speaking of which, Silver Tongue Devil with the double win on 50 Minutes of Fame.
I know, right? I keep on saying
Top in the bow and crossbow.
Overlay. You spelt double champion wrong.
Like it. So
very proud.
So speaking to the champion himself, what would be your number one tip that you could give to the community going into this tournament now?
You might as well roll over and die now. Be fast. If you think you're not going fast enough, spur yourself on. Think fast. There's plenty of times where I was playing in previous tournaments or previous just normal main runs trying to chase down that executioner bonus. And it's like, I'm going too slow. I need to go faster. And if you think that to yourself, you can usually project that within your game as well.
For sure.
Do things fast.
So Michael Pollock's actually just dropped a question. With the new updates, will you be adjusting any strategies for the season? I'm guessing that's aimed at you.
Me?
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to find a new favorite arrow. Barrage of Needles, not it anymore. It just means that we're going to have to move back to the way the meta used to be, which is it's going to be all about long range headshots, long range accuracy. The one thing that I've picked up, and I know me and Beanie have discussed as well, is trying to combine the long range headshot game with the quick executioner game, and it works quite well with the bow. It's bloody hard though, all right? So a lot more work. It's a lot less deadly than trying to be in the face of everything all the time. But as the lads here, the precedent is still on getting as far as you can. And I think we'll find, especially this season, that the scores are going to be based on long range. It's going to be based on those headshots. Those who can get the executioner within that are going to come up trumps. There's also more in the game, talking mainly about Grace of God, to keep you going longer. So yeah, cycle 19's all well and good. I think we're going to be looking at 20 plus. However, as LJ will quite happily tell me, well, I never died in my run. I still haven't died yet. I died on purpose. Do you want to exaggerate on that for us a little more, LJ? Just let them know how good you are.
Well, if you reach cycle 20, I'll tattoo your score on my body. So let's.
That's a bet right there.
Temporary, you would tattoo
throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I like it. So I'm guessing this is one for all of us. So, Big Smith, I'll start with you. So we've been asked, when playing the bow, do you have a special technique to prevent your arms from getting sore?
No, because if there is one, I have not found it. my arm doesn't get sore, but definitely my left shoulder takes a toll. It's definitely when you get into these higher cycles too. There's I don't know any way to avoid it. I mean, obviously, there's a load of different strategies on how to use the bow, aiming, just different strategies, draw length, just all that stuff. But no, I mean, towards the end of that last season, I mean, it was nightly. I was using, like muscle cream, massage guns on my shoulder just to try to keep going. It was
sure, it
kind of dumb if
painful.
you kind of dumb putting yourself through that for a game, but it's worth it. So.
Yeah.
I think the shoulder killer was the 2 incubuses or 3, depends on your luck in a high cycle and in whatever the pits are, typically pit of immolation. Taking down 2 incubuses requires for you to pause the game, either by bringing the bar or the main menu to rest it. That I felt like when shooting those 2 for half an hour, constant headshots, that my arms were going to fall off. So needed to pause, take a break, then resume. So that's kind of suggestion for taking it easy.
Yeah, taking breaks is definitely the tip that I would give. Otherwise, you end up with is it like repetitive strain syndrome? I know I suffered with that, especially after the pit runner. Yeah,
yourself out of it.
Completely ruined myself in the pit runner one.
It wasn't hilarious, but for me,
it wasn't. It was 50 minutes of fame that I put myself out like 3 days in, just trying to go for it too fast. So yeah, definitely take regular breaks is my suggestion on that.
The only thing that I was going to throw out there as well, and this is a top tip for both Sean and LJ, is try Siege of Heaven mode. We regularly have to keep our arm up for minutes at a time, and it's tough going, but the more you do it, the longer you can do it. So
yeah,
that helps me. But even then, when the higher cycles, I find just got to rest. You just got to go and find somewhere safe and just put your arm down for a little bit. So thankfully enemies stagger. If they didn't, then it would be constant. So
yeah, definitely.
And use the shard more. If you're not using your teleport arrow, you don't have to raise that arm up.
That's true. That's very true. Although I know some players find the shard a little bit unreliable. I'm personally not one of them, but
I'm one of them.
Shard
only for.
Go on.
Sorry. Sharding only if you need to dodge something last moment, like Screamer jumping at you or something, then I shard, but normally I don't use that. Find it definitely unreliable.
Yeah. There you go, Super. Maybe it's something we can work on. How soon will the tournament start in hours so I can set a timer? It's just under 20 hours, buddy. Fingers crossed, anyway. Are the 3 of you motivated to win Season 4? There we go. We'll start with you, Silver.
What, win Season 4? I mean, well, so that means I have to come first in everything? I mean, that's what I would classify as a win, right?
That's what I'd class as winning.
I have to put the time in to beat these 2 guys. Ask. I mean, as far as Season 3 is concerned, as everyone will probably be aware, I've been trying to put out as many videos as I can to help people, which does impact the amount of time that I can play. But regardless of that, or the time that I can play competitively, however, that's part and parcel of one of the series is that I've started doing my own second profile. So I've got one for recording gathering footage and recording videos on another one for playing competitively. My task for season, well, yeah, it is season 3, isn't it? My task for season 3 was to make sure I got top 10. Well, yeah, but season 3 for me, it was important to get top 10 in everything. I can't put videos out there and attempt to teach people, in my humble opinion, unless I have legitimacy behind me in that I can do all these things. Not to the level of these guys, or well, we'll see. Season 4 for me, it's top 5 in everything this season. Maybe
like it.
Maybe top 3. We'll see.
Alice, what about you? Are you motivated to try and win season 4 as well? LG?
Am I going for the top in season 4?
Yeah.
Oh God, you can see the nightmare play already.
I
just
definitely
done
will.
that. I don't want to have to even think about doing it again. I'd be in exactly the same boat.
No, the thought of it discourages me a little bit, to be honest, because I think it is painful. I mean, if you do it once, it's interesting. You do it twice, it could be a hustle. But let's see. I mean, it's always a motivation to be on the scoreboard. So as long as you guys coming after me, I probably will be motivated to.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Not just you, but all other players that are great as well. So every season there is a new one coming. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. And Sean, what about you? Are you going to go for back-to-back wins?
Absolutely. I am stupid competitive. So yes, I'm definitely going for it. And as Rob mentioned, I was going to up his top 10 across the board, and I'm going to shoot for top 5 across the board. But yeah, absolutely. So every run that I've done, I have always, lived a little bit longer, made it through another higher cycle. So I haven't officially started any runs yet. I finally have both my profiles to where I can do my crossbow and my bow simultaneously. So that will give me a good break from having to use my bow consistently and give my arms and shoulders a rest. So yeah, I'm going for it.
When we talk about across the board, there's that other entire mode in the game called Siege of Heaven. Thoughts?
You'll see me there. You'll see me there.
I like it.
Right above you.
I'll pass.
Good.
I'll pass.
Like it is a whole different ball game, Siege of Heaven.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm gonna try after the tournament. So I'm using the tournament to also give now a shout out to everybody. There is obviously I and many others are in the position that you guys aren't, and that is you both use bow and crossbow. I'll use this tournament to get out of the comfort zone and probably be better with the crossbow so I can start a run. But let's see. So
that's definitely a good thing. That's what we want to try and encourage. Obviously, previous tournaments has always been set leaderboards for the bow and the crossbow separately. So for this one, we just wanted to switch it up a little bit and really see who is the most versatile, almost, who can use both weapons, who can really top that leaderboard, and it pushes players out of their comfort zone.
Definitely, and I saw a lot of comments of people saying that they're not going to participate. I have the same feelings, but I just gonna shout out and say, do that, because I think it's going to improve your gameplay when you return to your weapon of choice, which is bow either or crossbow. I think you're going to be a much better performer.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd go as far as to put the challenge out there, because a lot of bow users, not all, but a lot of bow users regard the X-bow as the easy mode. So as I've said before, I'm quite happy to say it in the comments, I'm quite happy to say it as well, is show me this easy mode. It's not. It's
very true.
Something that I will be doing is I believe the crossbow is the way to start playing the game. Shout out to Elite Jonathan. That's how he started playing the game, and he's literally come from nowhere to start this whole beat the bar thing that will be something pushing heavy on for after the tournament. As far as speed is concerned, he started playing the crossbow. He's then moved on to the bow, and he's developing really fast. And it's because he's gone from having a very short range game when he begins, so you don't have to worry so much about hitting those long range headshots, and then extending that out. Whereas everyone else starts with the bow, and it starts long range headshots, and then you bring it back in. And I think it's the wrong way around to do it.
It's definitely something. So Kathy Hollis has asked, with all the updates, the running nights in particular, what do you do in the higher cycles? I'm guessing that's how it's worded. Yeah, what's it like fighting the Red Knights in like cycle 17, 18, 19?
Not to be misunderstood or sound cocky, I don't. I have a strategy where it doesn't matter how fast they are or how fast they run or shoot. I have the strategy to divide and conquer, so to isolate them, stun them, and then just overload with headshots. So for me, it doesn't matter unless it's within Anakin's lair. But then there you have the Alcove strategy as well. So for me, it's not concerning the enemy upgrade at all, because of that approach to place myself in a safe place, isolate that enemy, stun them, and then just finish them off.
You just got to get them in that melee attack sequence so that their speed is totally ineffective at that point.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know for most players, like cycle 6 is probably the average, and even the Red Knights are pretty fast then. But you're like basically tripling that. So.
Right. The only enemy that scares me, though, so it's not the knight, and we discussed that previously, it's the skeleton archer. So that, even with all these new characters being introduced in Desolation, I think they are, like the Screamer and the Exorcist, I'm really curious to see how they behave in high cycles. But even with those, I think the award for the most notorious enemy is the skeleton archer. That requires special skills. And as I said, if I see a stream of someone taking those without Winter's Bite in cycle 15 plus, then based on my opinion, you have like the ultimate skill in this game.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. They'll shoot right through you.
They are a pretty cheeky enemy. The only thing that I was from, I mean, I've done a fair bit of play in higher cycles, but not so much this season. Obviously I was using barrage and needles as well, so I was a lot more close in range-wise than you boys. But the one thing that I found when I wasn't doing that, and you have to keep plugging those headshots away, was the killer for me was concentration, because you get into that repetition of regular headshot. Your mind wanders, you start doing something else, one of those headshots misses, or something else comes in from another angle that you haven't factored in. That's where I took my hits, lack of concentration, because the sheer amount of headshots that you have in a different.
But it's funny you mentioned, like, when you headshot a Black Knight 140 times, it's
quite something.
No, but it's funny how your mind starts to drift off to something you think about, I don't know, your work or something else from your life, or what you have for dinner. It's just like you're totally out of the game. It's just because you need to do it 140 times, and then once you do that, another Black Knight comes in, you need to repeat that again. So it's a lot of time also in these high cycles spent on thinking something other than the game, because it kind of your mind drifts off. You can't be concentrated all the time.
Yeah,
so that's a kind of funny aspect, even though those are super highly dangerous cycles, but your mind drifts off to something else.
I like it. You will be happy to know that Super Bright are aware how tedious it gets at higher cycles with the HP thing, and we are looking into ways that we can try and fix it and make it more enjoyable.
I've got some suggestions. It involves skeletons. You'll be well happy about that, I was going to say, on the repetition side of things, is getting into that kind of zen zone. Most VR games, that's actually a good thing. like we've all played Beat Saber, we've all played Pistol Whip, we've all played games like this where you just move in, it kind of takes over, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Very few games are like IDU where it's actually quite dangerous, or can be quite dangerous, to enter that state of mind or stay there too long. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Don't know, we're holding up on questions at the moment, so I'll throw another one at Silver for now. Actually, we did have one come up saying, what routes do you know to take in Desolation for the upcoming tournament? What would be your go-to route?
I don't know yet because I haven't done it under tournament conditions. I think it's been identified by Miss Foster, Ruth Foster's IDU guru, has identified 8 like different configurations of Desolation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes hand in hand with Purgatory, Abyss, and Paradise Lost. The similar numbers of configurations, different. Sorry, when I say configurations, I'm talking level layouts and plans. I know you guys understand that, but as far as actual routes are concerned, I don't know yet. My initial feeling is don't go underground. It looks beautiful down there. There's some great enemies. There's loads of them. Loads of points. I don't want to go down there because some of them have got dead ends. I don't want to go down there because some of them are a nightmare to escape. The amount of times I've come back up onto the surface, as I was saying to these boys before we started, and looked around as somebody who's played this game for way too long and definitely has an IDU problem and not known which way to go. And then gone 50-50 and gone the wrong way. We don't want to be doing that at all.
Definitely not.
As far as routes are concerned, that's again, I'm speculating and experimenting, but I don't.
Oh no, he's gone.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, bad times.
Maybe we can share our views.
Yeah, go for it.
Because we also talked before. I kind of agree with Rob. Going underground is it could result in wasting time. So what I would do is, and I need to test this, go into a straight path, and don't take my word for it because it's not tested. We don't have access to the tournament, but going to the end of the map where, as you know, there is a big party over there. So taking those guys out, teleport into a next cycle and repeat. And of course, while you're getting there, if you go to not exactly straight line, but going through those highly populated areas and then shoot the mobs. So you don't stray left or right or below. So you just keep on that path. I think that could be a good strategy.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, it's going to be challenging. You know, the hope was that the tournament was going to get released and that we would all be able to play it for a couple hours before doing this, so that we would be able to give some firsthand experience. But of course that didn't happen. But nevertheless, I mean, I've been that's what I've been, you know, doing, is just trying to learn the Desolation maps, because there are so many of them, and just with the variances of the above ground and below ground, it's going to be challenging. I did a video a couple days ago where I worked the entire map as quick as I could, and it took me almost 10 minutes to get through the entire map as fast as I could, and that was just one cycle. So of course you're going to have a trade-off to where if you want to try to jump to a large pool of enemies and try to repeat that on as many cycles and build up as many points, your trade-off is, in between that process, you're going to completely lose any executioner bonus that you would have been racking up. So I wish that I could to tell everybody, you know, don't go underground, only focus on underground, skip a zone, you know, do whatever. But it's going to be a challenge no matter what, just because it is such a limited time. And I will say I think it's going to be best to focus on the larger pool of enemies. So in any given zone, there's usually some sort of cluster that will happen somewhere. So if you can learn the layouts, get to that spot, take out those enemies, and then keep moving, If you're not shooting, you're not adding points to your score. So if you're bouncing around, teleporting, that's not helping your score, your position. So keep moving, keep trying to drag monks with you. If you can drag some bats with you, just to try to keep your executioner going, that could make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And the best part here is that it's not a long run, so you kind of feel that you need to do everything perfectly. You have 5-6 days to do as many attempts as you can for 10 minutes. So,
yeah, shortened to 4 days now because of today's.
Yeah, but even if it's 4 days, you have plenty of attempts to try either approach, and then your highest score will be recorded, right? So I think all these things, you can just try it out and see what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's obviously I do get to compete, which I'm quite happy about. I don't get to win prizes though, so I'll leave that bit up to you guys. But for me, it's something different, because over the seasons, people have learnt Purgatory, people have learnt like Paradise Lost and the Abyss, even the pits for like the pit runner tournament and stuff. So going into something like so new and then just throwing a tournament straight out there, like, it makes it a challenge for everyone, not just us. Which is good. We might have a Rob back.
We have Rob back.
Sorry, charger slipped out my phone.
Brilliant. While you're adjusting that, another question has popped up saying the average age of IDU players is higher than other games. Is there any thoughts on why? Atlas, I'll start with you. LG?
We've all got our ideas and reasons, I guess. But yeah, go on.
Do I know why the average age is higher?
What are your thoughts on it? It's an interesting question, to be honest.
I would say some of it probably has to do with the fact that there maybe is no multiplayer mode, that you don't have that interaction. That seems to be a lot of the younger generation gamers. They like the multiplayer, the first person shooter games. So I think that probably has a decent amount to do with it.
Yeah, definitely.
But then we're also judging, I guess, that off of the one Facebook post where the groups that are in that Facebook post is just a small fraction of the players that are actually in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
At least you can conclude that the front pagers, or you can say that, are older than what top players would be in other games.
I think one of our players averaged it out. The average IDU player's age is about 52 or something around there. So that makes me like one of the youngest players. It's really weird.
That's about right. Yeah, I was going to say, it was like a curve there. I mean, for me, I would say it's about attention span. I honestly would. IDU is not an easy game. It's very engaging. I can't really think of anything else out there where you have to have that. I mean, I know there's plenty of people out there that are younger and more mature, but it does, concentration, maturity with what you're doing within it. And you can relax into it, especially on those earlier cycles as well. It's a relaxing game to lose yourself in. But as us lot have also proved, there's that competitive edge within it as well. So yeah.
But Michael has a point that I can read in the comments. So the younger generation is not on Facebook. So Twitch and other apps are probably a place where we would see younger. But still, as a top player, it remains the conclusion that we don't see younger folks.
Yeah, for sure. Totally, yeah. But that's the thing as well. Like, obviously, our Facebook group is in the older crowd, as it were. But it is just a small fraction. So we've got like 2,000 members on the community group. Whereas
but maybe that's the thing. Yeah.
But whereas
maybe
like
that's
there's
the thing, because
140,000 like active players apparently so far. So yeah,
but
community
maybe
is
that's the
forever
thing,
expanding.
because the reason why many of the Facebook members are in the top 15 is because of the tips and tricks that you can't find elsewhere.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
gets you to that part of the game where you learn all the techniques. Else, if
Time
I'm
and
not
trick.
part of the group, I don't think I'll be able to get anywhere close to,
Yeah.
not even cycle 10, let alone 19.
100% agree. I mean, I would have not taken first if I wouldn't have adopted your Alcove strategy for Anakin.
That's it. That's the beauty of the Facebook community, isn't it? We
Yourself over that.
all help each other.
So in order to advertise that, just say, if you want to be good at something or at this game, join the Facebook group.
Yeah, definitely. It's all IDU for me has always been time and tricks. And you get to the point where you know enough of the tricks and have put enough time in that I'm actually quite, as one of the things that I say about the little channel that I do with the various videos on is, believe it or not, I'm actually being quite selfish with the videos that I make, teaching people as much as I can, because by me trying to teach that to other people, it kind of reinforces the lessons myself and makes me better. And also, I've always been told that, you know, if you want to get better, you've got to compete against the best. So if players need to get up to that level to then be, you know, there's plenty of people that can compete with all of us and are probably better than all of us. But the more competition there is, the better we all become. And, you know, and it just pushes everybody on a little bit more. So
Yeah, 100%. Completely agree with that. So I'm going to go through one by one again. I don't know. We need the community to ask more questions. Come on, keep them coming. So I'm going to throw one out there. What are your overall thoughts on the new Desolation world? And Sean, I'll start with you.
So the new Desolation world is awesome. It's first, I mean, when I first went into it, I knew that it was just going to be a different game, different tactics, different strategies, because it's so spread out. The enemies are not heavily condensed into any major area other than the basements. I mean, that's usually where the condensing of the enemies happens. And just running through it. I mean, the overall appearance of it was awesome. The graphics. But yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be a challenge for sure, especially into higher cycles, like when we were mentioned earlier, just that end piece of Desolation where you get to where that on the bridge where all those enemies are at, just trying to not aggro the entire army to come at you all at once, because that would be terrible. I mean, just almost impossible to try to fight your way through. But no, I mean, the map so far, I mean, I love it. I heavily enjoyed playing it.
Brilliant. Silton Devil, what about you?
yeah, great. Feels fresh enough and brand new enough to appeal, but dovetails in really nicely in a lot of regards with the other worlds. I do like the fact that IDU have attempted to, and I think successfully for definitely for newer players or not so experienced players, to bring a bit of that fear back to in Unchained. I remember when I first started playing, it's quite a scary game to begin with.
Oh yeah,
and
the
then
Incubi laugh.
Yeah, you learn the tricks and you learn the various bits and pieces, and you put the time in, and then that familiarity comes in and you're able to deal with stuff. My favorite part about it is definitely, I'm not sold on the name because it's an Exorcist, but the Exorcist is definitely my favorite edition, and it's just because it quickens people up. The Exorcist, you didn't know, was getting you ready for tournament time. So there you go.
Like it. And LG, what about you, buddy?
It definitely strikes a bit fear into tackling something new. So I think Super Bright did that successfully, affecting all players, even the more experienced ones like us. It's going to be interesting to see how I'm gonna progress through higher cycles, because I was considering Purgatory as a very easy way through the game, taking into account all these different places, strategic places where I take out enemies. So definitely I need to spend a lot of time figuring where those places are in Desolation, because it's a totally different and open layout. So I like it. So it gives a challenge where you go into a new map and you need to discover stuff so you can pass those high cycles.
Yeah, brilliant.
The screamer scream is spot on too. That scream is so terrifying. And let's hope that they don't adopt his mechanics into higher cycles to where other enemies don't get stunned, because that'd be terrifying.
Yeah, I definitely said to the team while we were like coming up with these ideas that the screamer itself, it needs to add some sort of fear back into the game, and I think they successfully done that. So
yeah,
definitely does. That was a nice one.
So I've got a question from Tiffany for myself. Is the Alcove strategy something Super Right sees as an issue, or is it safe to learn it without fear of it being taken away? Now, I can't comment on behalf of the whole team, but technically it shouldn't be there, because it's the only one you can teleport into. It obviously got missed at some point.
May I provide my insight to that?
Yeah, go for it. Enlighten me.
Has-been doesn't know.
So I don't think it's a safe place if you look at it isolated. Like, you teleport to some place where knights and abominations can't get you. But once you get into higher cycles, Sean can tell that, Michael can tell that probably, it's not that easy, because if you don't execute several steps, as you need to be like really precise into clearing some of the monks, into getting Anakin to go into that corridor, and you need to really execute that flawlessly in order to take advantage of the Alcove strategy. If you don't do that, that easily is going to be the end of your run.
Yeah, for sure.
So from that perspective, I don't think it's an exploit.
That was going to be the other side of it. Obviously, it's now becoming a very quickly known strategy that players want to use. So in that respect, for how difficult Anakin becomes, especially at higher cycles, he's probably the hardest boss, in my opinion.
It's all you've got at this stage as well.
Yeah.
And one more additional element. We invented that strategy in order for you to accommodate your lack of quivers for that battle to be fair, because you have so many enemies that have huge health, span. So you're not able to make it a fair fight with the quivers you have available. So I think it should be there. And it should be to learn. So, Tiffany, go for it.
Yeah. So, to be fair, hopefully some of the team are watching. So, hopefully they'll at least take in the info and we end up keeping it.
Just in case they are, one thing that I will say, because I've been very vocal on the matter either, thank you very much for the really cool free stuff. This autumn. Thank you very much from probably everybody in the community, I can easily say, for continuing to add to what is my and everybody else's probably in this situation problem game. I can't put it down, Super Bright, and adding more content. How am I supposed to live a life and do that? But yeah, thank you.
We'll start by you anonymous, shall we?
Obviously, Beanie's been away from the game long enough. You're not in it anymore. Then you don't know, do you?
Any word on the holy hand grenade fix? Yes, we are looking into it. See what other questions we got. People are throwing a few out.
The only thing that I will add to the whole Alcove strategy as well, because I haven't done it myself. I'm going to be dissecting it in videos coming soon, I would imagine. I'll be picking LJ and Sean's brains about it, I dare say, mainly LJ's. And I believe the pathing with Anakin has changed slightly now. So I don't know if that's someone's attempted to get him into the alcove, or if they've made it a little bit more difficult to direct him into the alcove. But I hope it is difficult to path him into the alcove, because then that just lends itself to being a higher level strategy. I don't want it to be a higher level strategy to kind of gatekeep, but you know, if you're playing to that level and want to get that far, then you need to know the tricks, you need to know the way to play it. There's metas in every other game. There's metas in IDU.
For sure. I was actually enlightening these two guys on how Anakin works earlier. If you land your teleport arrow out of his line of sight, Anakin will move to your last known position before it recalculates where you are. If you land where you are in his line of sight, he'll instantly turn and chase you. So you have that small window where as long as you land out of his line of sight, he's going to always go to your last known position. I think that's where people are getting the pathing confusing.
That might have been what I've seen then.
Yeah, because apart from visuals, I don't think there has been any changes to Anakin. So
that's good to know. So cycle 20, here we come.
He's going for it. He's
Absolutely.
decided. Are they going to add more screamers in a map? I cannot comment on that one at this current moment in time, unfortunately.
All's enough. You got a death wish? I'll tell you what they should do. All right, for somebody, if somebody wants screamers, make them jump, would you? Make them jump really high. And I hope that happens in the later cycles. And then when everyone jumps up on top of a little archway or a little wall, they're going to get a nice screaming surprise. That's what I want to see.
That would be good.
Screamers, not more, just jumping.
Yeah, have them climb walls, do whatever. You just can't get away from them no matter where you go.
That definitely needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
Make it jump and make it drunk as well.
Yeah. So we're going to keep going for like another 15 minutes, so keep these questions coming, guys. How much does Anakin's damage aura grow from cycle to cycle? I guess that one's aimed at you, LG.
I have no clue.
No clue?
No clue, because the whole attention is on the monks. And if you have been watching the videos I've posted, that's a hell of a lot of health for the monks in those cycles. So I don't pay attention to Anakin at all. When you get into the fight, the only thing you think of is don't aggro the knights with the first arrow you shoot, because if you do that, it's the end. After cycle 15, it's not possible for you to win that fight. So I don't pay attention. I just want to hit him, see that it spawns monks, one wave or two waves, and then if you do that correctly, then I think the rest of the fight just goes easy. So I don't even care how much health Anakin has, as long as those 2 steps or 3 are executed well.
So, I can give a little bit more information on that.
Yeah.
So what I can tell you is, and I'd imagine most people have noticed, that as Anakin progresses down the cycles, he actually grows. So he actually becomes a bigger model. Size-wise, as you go through the cycles. The big change seems to be when the knights come in. And I think that's cycle 5, maybe. Yeah, cycle 5. And as far as the knights are concerned, his aura seems to grow bigger at that point. What I can say is at cycle 1, and this is purely when I was messing around trying to do the whole barrage of needles thing on him, you can almost stay in an effective range of Anakin with barrage of needles and hit him in the face without getting hit. You can, but it's an almost.
Yeah.
As soon as you get to cycle 5, you can't. So I would imagine what's happening is his aura is set, but then as he grows, that aura is pushed out incrementally. So I can't tell you exactly what it is, but as LJ said, just stay away from him, all right? He's got an aura. It'll damage you. Don't get close. The best
I like
bit of
it.
advice to give.
So Rena wants us to spill some secrets here. What is the highest cycle we have all achieved? So, Silver Tandebo, I'll start with you. What is the highest cycle you've got to?
Ooh, 14, I think.
14?
But then,
Decent.
I think, yeah, 14 or 15. But then I do a lot of rooftop hopping and do a lot of bits and pieces. My recent, my last run, I think I died in cycle 13, and I've never, when I've done rooftop hopping through the levels, just killing the bosses. I have to do this quite a bit for various videos. I've on occasion I've thought like, well, how much further could I get? So I've been able to take arrows specifically for doing the bosses over. And my most recent crash out was cycle 12 or 13, because even and I've been playing this game for a long time, and these guys knew as well, that the lava in Asmo, eventually, if you don't kill that first incubi rather, the lava gets to the point where it can just go over your head. I did not know that because I've always killed it quickly when I've been going through the bosses. So, yeah, that's the long answer. Short answer, I think 14, 15, somewhere along those lines. But I've never trained to get that far. I've always tried to maximize my scoring on the way to the higher cycles.
Yeah.
And now with what guys are bringing to the game, it's about doing that and getting far out. So different kettle of fish altogether.
For sure.
Unfortunately.
Sean, what's yours?
So we all know LJ is the king as far as the cycles. I completed cycle 17 on the last season with the bow, and I'm pretty sure 16 on the crossbow, which is interesting because I actually consider myself to be a better crossbow player, but more accurate with the bow. So
It's good. Good
that's my
versatility.
highest.
I like it.
Yeah.
And LG? I think we all
That
know
was
yours.
cycle 19, which I really regret that. Well, now I'm kind of contradicting myself because I wanted the run to be over. But 19, and I feel that if the competition with Sean would have gone until the weekend so I can get past 19, I think I would have died at Asmo because of the incubus. If you saw my video at 18, it was at the last moment where I managed to teleport to that platform where you take out the skulls. So I don't think that would have been the case in 19. So
Yeah, for
that
sure.
would have been my end. Yeah.
So,
But I'm happy to test and everybody else in this new season. So let's see if that can be beaten.
yeah, I like it. So
Easy job.
in official gameplay, I'm coming in at the underdog here at cycle 12, but in unofficial gameplay, I've toyed around in like cycle 30, just doing testing and stuff. It gets very, very painful.
But may I ask about cycle 30? How were you dealing with the incubus then?
I didn't last that long, to be perfectly honest. And at the same
No,
time,
not in cycle 30, but up to cycle 30. How were you able to defeat that incubus?
So unofficially through testing, I can just jump straight in at a specific cycle and just play around and test stuff. So.
You're not allowed the ability to do that, so you can go and practice later. It doesn't work like that. It only works like that for him. That's why he doesn't get to play in the competition.
That's it.
Or get the prizes from said competitions. Yeah, we have to get there and do it the normal way, unfortunately. So,
yeah.
But then therein lies part of the problem is, and again, this is part of the reason why I try and put out as many videos, is it can be a massive time sink to get to those places to just then fail. Or, as a lot of people will experience, they'll get there and their concern is surviving and getting past.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of what I was doing last season was getting there and then seeing what might work or what else won't work. For every Masters in a Minute video that I've put out there with a weapon set or like trying different arrows or doing bits and pieces, yeah, there's probably about 20 combos that didn't work, and then probably about 100 battles with each of them that didn't pay off either. I would put a fails compilation together, but I've deleted all of it.
I like it.
I don't remember it either.
So another question: Are we allowed the amulets during the tournament? No, we are not. There will be no amulets. We're going back to bare bones near enough for this tournament. It's kind of like the 15 Minutes of Fame tournament if you were there for it, and the Pit Runner tournament if you were there for it combined. So it's in the style of 15 Minutes of Fame where you just go through the level with... although I think there was bosses on 15 Minutes of Fame, wasn't there? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I harvested all my points.
Yeah, but we are literally going back to bare bones. You get 10 minutes on with vanilla arrows. You may or may not get, should I say, some special arrow drops as you go through the levels. Yeah, no boss, no orphans, no pits. Just we've made it as bare as possible so we can keep it as fair as possible, because at least this way it's going to be down to skill and speed and what you can do as a player, rather than, oh, I just got that lucky orphan that just popped up, oh, I've just got the best pit layout, and it tries to remove some of the RNG that's involved, which I think helps a lot of people.
Yeah, sounds good. Bring it on.
Any chance of being able to change out amulets in the middle of a run? That's a very good question. I personally have no idea, but that is something I can definitely bring up with the team, or if you put it into the IDU game suggestions in our Discord, so I can remember, then there's something we could definitely look into.
I think the only thing that I would say in relation to that is you then getting to the point where you add in a massive min-max factor. I mean, by all means, look into it, but it just means that people, I mean, myself included, and these boys will do it as well, you'll find that then the footage that you see of us doing bosses or completing this or giving you a guide to that will be, right, now you need to go and switch to this amulet. Now you need to go and switch to that amulet. Now this one would be best. And it's, I mean,
yeah,
I see what they're getting at, but I don't think it'd work.
Okay, so
and the other side, my bad side, you know, my devil on my shoulder would be like, just pick an amulet, all right, and get on with it.
So this is a great question, and a big shout out to Matthew Palmer, also known as For the Right, one of the OGs.
Who's he?
He's not in the stream, unfortunately, from what I can see. But we have been asked what are our thoughts on the player For the Right, Matthew Palmer. So LG, I'll start with you.
Hang on, hang on. So Matt is asking what our thoughts are on Matt.
No, someone else has asked what are our thoughts on the player For the Right. So LG, I'll start with you.
Well, it's not a secret that most of the tricks I've learned from Matthew. I've been the reason why I've progressed so much up until cycle 19, or at least until 15, which was his max cycle before he stopped, it was because I was carefully analyzing his videos. Like, I was, before doing a specific cycle, I would go on Facebook and see his stream in order to analyze it, and then just learn tips or make my own twist to that approach. So it's a huge credit for what he
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sean, what about you? Have you been playing long enough to see him?
Yeah. So same as LG. I mean, I definitely learned a ton when it comes down to game breakdown. Just what's going to score you the most points, tactics, tips, strategies. I don't know that I've seen anybody better as far as just the overall breakdown.
I'm right here.
Yeah. You gotta let me finish, Rob. I got one for you too. But as in game and out of game, I will say, on the last tournament, I think the 15 minutes of fame tournament, just a credit to his personality outside of the game. Also, he I think placed third, and I was fourth, and he actually forfeited his prize and gave it to me. And Rob also awarded me a prize during that tournament for placing high in his sponsor bracket, whatever they were.
Well, if I'd have heard that you'd got the prize from For the Right because he gave it up, would not have the prize.
So he's a good man in game and in person.
For sure. Silverton Devil, your thoughts?
Yeah, Matt's a great guy. He's done a really good job in teaching everybody. He is a teacher. This is what he does. He's really good at it as well. My experience with Matt is a little bit different from you guys and probably very similar to Beanie. Him and Beanie are the first, they were top players when I had just started. And yeah, they were very supportive, but competitive. Which me and Beanie, along with For the Right, and some other names that don't really play IDU anymore, were chasing each other on the Siege of Heaven boards for a little while. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, great guy, excellent teacher, done a lot for the IDU community. Probably capable of beating us all. Long may he reign in his hiatus for as long as necessary. Happy days.
Yeah, Matt, if you get a chance to watch this, you're missed by the entire community, so hurry up and get your ass back.
Wow, missed is a strong word.
Will the tournament map have more enemies than the regular Desolation map? I hope not. I'm not quite sure how that would work. I mean, it would be nice, as Silver Tongue Devil just said, there would be a lot more scoring opportunities if there was, but I do believe it would be as the game is. Cool. Well, the hour is pretty much up. I think we've answered more than enough information for what we'll need for upcoming games and gameplay. Hopefully everyone's learned something from this as well. Obviously the community is so great, and we're all happy to share tricks and tips to help just any player improve their gameplay, I suppose. And so don't be afraid to ask it.
Never. That's what the various groups are about, the Facebook, Discord, what have you. And even if the same question you think has been asked before or multiple times, when I started getting involved in the Facebook group, and it's actually part of the reason why I started doing the videos, is I figured if I had a video answer for every single eventuality, then I wouldn't have to do a load of typing. I am a lazy person when it comes to things.
I like it.
So if you ask a question and I just have to click a button and paste a video, and you can then go and watch that and get your answer, happy days. And I don't mind how many times that question's asked, as long as you don't mind how many times I post the same video.
Exactly that. Yeah, so I'm going to thank you guys for actually jumping in and taking the time to do this with us. Hopefully this will be the first of many that we can do for the future, for any tournaments or content that comes out. Yeah, what else can we say, really? Again, hopefully everyone enjoyed it and learned something. We'll see you all in the tournament tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Good luck to everybody.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It'll be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Central European time, or that's 10 a.m. in Pacific time, or that will be 2 p.m. UK time. I don't know. The rest of you can convert it to how you need it. Fingers crossed our technical issues are solved. I know the team are working tirelessly tonight to try and make sure we can get it out tomorrow, so a shout out to those guys as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So cheers, guys, and as always, we'll see you at the tops of the leaderboards.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you all soon.